Life is so busy, if you blink, you can miss something amazing. It's important to take a moment and enjoy what we have and the people around us. I'm Mo Hagan, Chief Operating Officer for canfitpro, and welcome to A Moment with Mo, a podcast where I will welcome some incredible guests to talk fitness and nutrition, mindset and self-improvement, setting your goals into action, and much, much more. Now let's get chatting. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 10, A Moment with Mo. This episode will elevate your life by sharing insightful strategies and best practices for goal setting and healthy habit formation. Of course, it's the time of year where we can all afford to move from one season to the next, get out of the lazy days of summer, and rejuvenate ourselves with goals for the fall to ensure a successful finish to 2023. Now, whether you're a student returning to school, or whether I always feel like I'm a lifelong student, or whether you're just looking to transform your life, recalibrate where you're at, perhaps hack a few habits that you got into over the lazy days of summer, then you're in the right place. Joining me for this very insightful and inspiring conversation is award-winning fitness professional, Lisa Mastracchio. Welcome, Lisa.
Hey, Mo, how are you?
I'm great, and I'm totally being selfish here because you are so busy. I know I'm busy too. And the only way we seem to get together is when we make a date like this. So
I love
thanks so much.
I love it. Thanks for having me.
And of course, I know you love summer for many reasons and you continue to work hard with your clients, but you also take the time to rejuvenate because you have a busy roster with the way that you now work in the fitness industry as a hybrid trainer and coach. For those that have not met, I don't know who that would be, but who have not met Lisa Mastracchio, allow me the opportunity to introduce her. So Lisa is a fitness professional with 3 decades of experience. I can't believe that is, I've known you for all of that time.
Long time.
And of course, ranging from group fitness, personal training, and nutrition. You are the recipient of the 2019 canfitpro Fitness Professional of the Year. I still remember that moment on stage. You had your whole family with you.
Me too.
And it was a surprise. So how that all happened, well, that's backstage, as we say. And you hold certifications with canfitpro in FIS, which is Fitness Instructor Specialist, PTS, Personal Training Specialist, HWL, that is an acronym for Healthy Weight Loss. You also have your certification with Precision Nutrition. And that just names a few of the things that you have accomplished in your time. What I am really excited, and I know we'll share a bit about, is how you've transformed, speaking of transforming our habits and the way we work, is that you now work as a hybrid coach. You offer both in-person and online personal training, as well as group coaching programs. And you have released 2 books, your ebooks, Eat to Live. And the second one we'll talk a bit about here in this episode is Thrive at 50 and Beyond, the 5 pillars for health for women. And you've done numerous training programs. I love all the names you come up with. Fit for Her, Foundations, Strong by Design. You also have a membership community called, did I do that right? Wow, Women on Weights.
That's right.
And you're doing many other things online with your community. And you even have a recipe resource library. Your passion, oh my gosh, it is most defined as you are. And for anybody checking this out on YouTube, take a look at the definition of this incredible woman. I'm always jealous, and here's a little inside scoop. Lisa and I have worked together for many, many years on new programs. And every time I know that Lisa's coming somewhere to meet me and to work together, I always have to sort of up my ante in the gym, which is my goal, so I can look as fit as you.
You are.
So let's kick off. I want to share for all your mission.
Yeah.
and you invite others to join you on that mission. Is you inspire others to lead, lift, and move. And I
Mhm.
love that. So, did I leave anything out that you'd love to share with our audience
Honestly,
before
I
we
don't think so. That's a lot.
dive
That sounds
in?
like a lot when I hear about it. It sounds like this long, but it is 3 decades is long. And through that is an evolution, right? Because we keep changing. And so we should evolving throughout the years in fitness because fitness keeps changing. And so we change along with it as we should as individuals and as fitness professionals. So yeah, all of those things. So really enjoying working as a hybrid coach now. Did the online thing specifically when it was the COVID times, but now I also integrating in-person connection as well. So I love it because it's really the best of both worlds, allows me to reach people from abroad and then people in my own backyard, which is great. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying that. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
lead, lift, and move. Those were my 3 words when I started to launch my own brand. And it really encompassed the 3 things I wanted women in particular who I coach wanted to do. So leading a life that they should, that they want to, lift as in weights, because I'm big on that, and move, just moving your body for the sheer enjoyment of it and that we need to do, and moving forward as well. So those 3 words encompass it all.
It says it all. It's a brilliant, and it ties perfectly into what we call a mission. And your
Yes,
mission really articulates what your passion and purpose together help you to live, which is your why. So
totally.
it's so well done. And I know that it really comes from how you choose to lead, lift, and move in your own life.
Totally.
Let's ask, one of your beliefs, and you say you have this as part of your brand on your website, which is www.coachlisa.ca. You say that everything is a choice.
Mm.
Explain how this belief has served you in your life, and more specifically as it relates to goal setting.
Yeah, I think it's a phrase that really hits home, and by saying everything is a choice really puts someone in the position of saying you have the power, you can harness the power to control the controllables. I think sometimes we live and we think, oh, I have no choice, it is what it is, or I'm getting older, or I don't have time, and we can throw out a lot of excuses. But saying everything is a choice really puts us on the hook as to the choices that we make. So whether it's myself in my own career or anyone who wants to harness new habits, they have to shift the mindset and they have to reframe the thinking of everything, in fact, is a choice, my choice. So you choose whether you move your body or not. You choose whether you will lift weights or not, whether you'll drink water, whatever choices you make, ultimately they're on your plate. And I think it's important that we reframe our thinking as opposed to thinking, well, it is what it is, I have no choice in the matter, but rather look at things of what do I have in control? What can I control? It tends to be more than we think, in fact, because we often think we have no control about certain things. And there are things that we don't have control over, but there's plenty that we do. And so that's a main mission for me, is to really share with people that you actually have more control than you think. You just have to reframe the thinking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I heard a fantastic keynote speaker that I'll refer to at the end, and he said exactly that, is that we all have a choice. And this individual, recovered from a tragic motor vehicle accident in which he surprised all the doctors that, one, he would live and come
Mm,
out of this, and two, that he would walk again, which he does
wow.
as a result. But he also says, even in situations that we can't control, like he didn't control that he would be hit by a head on, truck driver when
Yeah,
that truck driver left the side of his road and smashed it head on in his car. But he had a choice on how he would react to the situation.
exactly.
So, to your point, we all have a choice,
We do.
from the basics to the hardest.
True, exactly. And I
Yeah.
think thinking that way and understanding and reframing that thinking, that mindset, then we have the power to say, well, what can I choose? And there's a lot that we do have in control. And I think that's important for myself as a fitness professional who works with women in particular. There's a lot of like, oh, well, I can't control certain things and my life is so busy and all of that. But then I always I like to say shave it down to like, well, what can we actually control? The morning routine or after school, or what can you control? And let's work on those things that are controllable, because you do have that power. And then
Mhm.
once you harness that power, it leads to more confidence and you're able to do the thing you want to do ultimately.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I know it could sound easy, but at a
Oh no.
time, 4 times a year, you see nature recalibrate, you see nature transform and change. And it's always nice that as the seasons change, we change and we go back to our goals. We go
Yes.
back to healthier habits or different habits
Hmm.
because just like nature, we change too. And don't you find that it's really great when the season changes? It gives you an opportunity to retune and recalibrate.
Totally. Love that. Absolutely. Recalibrate, even reset, refocus on certain things, even in the fall, because I know we're getting into the fall season. But fall, I know we think it's like everything is going to be dying off, right? But could be like a rebirth or like an actual new January. A lot of people reset goals in the fall and start to think of, okay, where am I going to go and where do I want to end by the end of the year? So you kind of focus on that, laser focus towards the end of the year, on the back end of the year. So I love the fall for that. And I love it because it usually comes out of a summer hiatus sometimes. And so it's a nice time to reset, to recalibrate, as you said, and to either, fine tune certain goals or create new goals or go back to things and habits that we had in the past that worked for us. There's a lot of ways that we can go about doing that. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What choices have you made in your career that have best served you and why? And if you'd courageously like to share, if there's any habits or choices you've made that haven't served you well in your
Mm.
career, don't hesitate to share that too.
I think, my career changed so much over the past 3 decades. And as I mentioned earlier, it should, because we change, we grow. I think I made choices that I wanted to keep moving forward. So I needed to continue to grow. That might have meant continuing education. That's a huge one. Going into areas that then interested me more, for example, like nutrition or personal training, and kind of changing direction. So it's not so much going deeper, but I went kind of wider in the fitness scope. And that proved to serve me well in my career because I was able to serve my clients better based on more knowledge and more information and more personal growth on my end. So that definitely is what served me well when it comes to my career, for sure. My personal fitness level is really important to me as well, because I feel in order to be who I want to be as a coach, I have to be authentic, and authenticity is where it's at. So if I preach the importance of, strength training or habits that are important for health, I have to have those as well. So I'm really diligent with my own personal fitness as well. And that's kind of a decision that I've made to continue to train with a coach myself so that I can continue to feel what it's like to be coached, which is not always fun,
Good. Yeah.
and push myself out of a comfort zone, because ultimately we all like to stay within our little comfort zone, which is just normal. It's just human nature. So having someone to push me outside of that is really important as I push others, my clients, to do likewise. So those are some of the things that I've done to continue to kind of keep moving forward as I get older, for sure. And as I continue in the fitness industry after, like I said, like 3 decades, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Love. Did you hear everyone that even the coaches have coaches? That's
So
always.
important.
Do you find your clients are surprised when they hear
Yes,
that?
totally. Like, why do you need one? Don't you know what to do? And I do. I do, exactly. But I won't necessarily do it myself. And I definitely, like most people, and I think all of us, we shortchange our capabilities, or we don't think we're as maybe strong or as fit as we potentially are. And so it always helps to have another set of eyes to see us and to push us where we don't think we can go on our own. And I think we all fall into that. Like, I know, yes, I can push myself, but I won't challenge myself as much as my coach will, nor will I do the exercises that I don't like. So he kind of forces me to do the things that I don't like. I don't like them because I'm not very good at them. And so he forces me in my programming to perfect those skills. And then you get better and better, like I do with my own clients. So I totally get it, but I really think it helps me to relate to my clients so much
Mm,
more, because I know what it feels like when they're struggling, let's say, to finish up some reps, or it's an exercise they don't like and they're not very good at it. And I get it because I feel that too. So we're all in the same boat. And I think it's important. We're just at different places, but we're all in the same boat.
absolutely. I love it when your clients, I know for my participants, when they know that I'm struggling,
Mm,
they like that
I love
because
that.
it connects you, like you said, but it also reminds them that we're human, they're
We're
human, and
so
together
human.
we can support each other. They do say, and this I think is an important, a good time to mention it is, especially as we talk about ways to reconnect with our goals, perhaps, look at our habits and hack a few and build a few that we want to return to. But this one proverb says that, when you go alone, you can go fast, but when you go together, you can go further. And when
Absolutely.
you have a coach, it helps us move through those harder parts of the goals that we have. And it helps us take action, or as we both love to say, move, especially when it's hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I believe that. And I think that's the accountability piece that really, really is a game changer for many people. So if someone's coming back from a summer hiatus, which is totally fine, by the way, there shouldn't be any regret or remorse or shame or guilt, none of that. If you go on vacation, you took some time off, or summer came and you were lazy, so to speak,
Mhm.
it's a short season here in Canada. Like, it's all okay. But I think the accountability piece, though, that when you're back, that you have that someone who's okay, let's get back to it. And I think that's an important piece. It's a real game changer to have someone be accountable to somebody else once you come back, to get you back onto those habits that serve you better, and wanting to build or remove some of the habits depending on what the summer was like.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And you mentioned it earlier that September in the fitness industry is like the new year,
totally.
because a lot of people get back into routine, and that's when they join a gym, go back to the gym, hire a trainer, hire a coach. So we'll talk about how people can connect with you and learn more about those opportunities, because if you really have found yourself in a bit of a rut, don't wait and
No,
just hope. Believe, but take action. And
absolutely.
Lisa and I can help you with that as well. Speaking of help, you wrote a book, and I'm sure it was to help your clients. One of your ebooks is the Thrive at 50 and Beyond. I'd love to jump in and have you share with us a little bit about this. The subtitle of it is The 5 Pillars of Health for Women.
Hmm.
And I read it through. It's very practical. It's loaded with actionable, doable steps, and you call it golden nuggets. Could you share, tell us about the book, why you
Yeah.
wrote it, and how these golden nuggets can help people embark upon new habits and perhaps move them through their goals?
For sure. I know it's written for women, but it's for everybody in general. I think we can all benefit from this. But it really was inspired by, of course, my clients, and a lot of the frustration of trying to live a healthy life, going through different changes hormonally as well, emotionally, physically. And so just trying to dissect and cut through some of the noise, because there's so much out there in terms of information. And I call it majoring in the minors. And a lot of people are just looking at, like, do I eat a sweet potato or a white potato? Oh my goodness, and these are not life-changing decisions. I wanted to bring it down to basics and to just focus on what I call the big rocks. And those are the 5 pillars. Because at the end of the day, those 5 pillars, which deal with nutrition, strength training, sleep, stress management, and mindset, ultimately create that foundation of what we want to thrive. I do talk a little bit more, of course, about perimenopause and menopause, because again, there too, a lot of my clients are in that stage and season of life. So I wanted to address those factors and symptoms, for example. But I really wanted this book to just be a hands-on, simple, but not easy, by the way. Simple, though, in terms of an easy read, actionable steps, yes, and how-to practical guide. And what I really feel is, like, when I talked about pillars, 5, so that's like on a hand. And I always envision, like, my vision of it was like a table where you have the legs, right? And so you've got 4 legs and one in the middle. And if one is off kilter, then the table's kind of lopsided a little bit. So we can still eat on the table, but it's not quite
Wobbles.
comfortable. You need the waiter to come and put the napkin underneath. So I wanted it to be like, not all pillars will be solid all the time. Like, sometimes our fitness and our nutrition is great, but our sleep is not so great. Or, there's different pillars and different seasons. So there's going to be an ebb and flow. But I wanted to leave people with the idea of, what pillar do you need to work on? And you can't work on all 5 at once. It's too daunting. And it will set us up really for feelings of failure, because we're trying to do too much, which is really important when it comes to habit change. But to say, what 1 or 2 pillars can I just start focusing in on? And once I hone those skills, then maybe I can see where else I can shift my focus and improve on, because we could all use improving on any of them. It might be mindset. It might be sleep. It might be, I need more protein in my diet. It might be, I need to lift some weights, actually, not just do cardio. So there's a lot of that in nuance in terms of how we can improve our health. But that was the idea of the book. And so it really went off well. It's user friendly. It's an easy read. Honestly, it's like you could read it in one sitting. It's quite easy for that. And I really enjoyed it. It was like a real passion project for me. It was really, really fun. And so I was happy with the feedback I got from it, simple, practical tips.
Good.
Yeah, it was fun.
Well, a couple things here. I love how you use the analogy of the table, and we can all relate to a table that wobbles a bit, and that's
Yeah.
okay. Loved how you use that as let's work on one leg or pillar at a time.
Exactly.
And whether you're following the research of The One Thing by Gary Keller, which says focus on the one thing that's going to have a compound effect on your life or on the other things that you're also, focused on. And as well, when you have one thing, like you said, it makes it doable and you get excited about seeing the change of that one thing. And that also helps elevate your belief because, like you said, you can see success quickly with one thing, even if it's a small amount of success. And that reinforces the habits, which is all part of, diving into new goal setting is the repeated actions consistently over time create the new habit, right?
Exactly. And it's a small actionable steps that compound over time because a small action then creates the traction, which is what you want. Yeah, exactly. And then you got the momentum. I think people wait for some sort of motivation thing to happen, but especially after summer, I personally felt it myself. I came back from holidays. It was great, but my motivation was gone. MIA. It was just not there. And it wasn't about motivation. It was, let's get that action. Let's get the wheels in motion. Let's build that momentum, which will then get me more motivated to continue. It's the same thing for habit change too. Once you start to have these small actionable steps, that's really important. It breeds a little bit more of that confidence and then that momentum starts to build. And that's what really will create change at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And the other thing I heard you say is it was quite enjoyable and a passion project to write a book.
Yeah.
Can't think of many authors I've met that say writing their book was enjoyable.
I was obsessed. I was obsessed. And so once I had it in my head, enjoyable. There was frustration, don't get me wrong, in editing, re-editing, changing, shifting things, visuals that I put together because I did it all from scratch. But I don't know. There was something about putting it together and working through it, and it became an obsession. I will not lie. So I was working on it day and night, and it became my obsession. And then seeing the final project complete and pressing like publish, like, okay, this is it. It's like, it's very hard to do that in writing. If you're a writer too, Mo, so it's never really finished, right? Like it could go on and on and on, but then you decide like, okay, it's enough. It's okay. Because otherwise you could just work on it forever. Like any piece of work of writing or art, like it doesn't end. But I was satisfied enough to say, okay, it's okay. It's good.
Wow. Congratulations. I was going to ask you, what gets you out of a sort of a hiatus or slump, not that you ever have them when it comes to what you're focused on, but you said it. So I'm going to go there. You came back from your vacation, which I know was something you had planned since your 50th. And you finally got the opportunity to go to Italy. And you said you came back and your motivation was MIA, missing in action.
Totally.
What were your go-to strategies? There are so many out there.
Oh my.
And I really love our listeners and viewers to learn about the go-to strategies. But let's start with what's your go-to strategy that perhaps help you to find your motivation again?
The first of all, the vacation was fabulous. So, and I know some people exercise on vacation or train or check out the gym at the hotel and all that. I did none of that. I was not interested in going into a gym. I was in Europe and Italy and I wanted to enjoy being outdoors. So we were active on vacation, but it wasn't like the same as back home. In any case, when I came home, one thing I did, which was prior to the leaving for my trip, was I booked a session with my coach the day after my arrival back home, which I actually wanted to cancel when I came home. Came a hair away from canceling that. There was jet lag. I didn't feel like it. Like I said, I wasn't motivated, but I decided to show up anyway. And figured, you know what, let me get those wheels in motion. And that really, really got me started. Because then it was like, okay, like because I think part of us is, I don't want to say afraid, but like, that feeling of like, I haven't done anything in a couple of weeks. This is going to be hard. This is not going to be pleasant. This is going to be uncomfortable. And so we're not looking forward. We don't throw ourselves into discomfort by nature. We don't do that as people. So I didn't feel like, oh, I'm going to get sore muscles, or it's going to be tougher than it was, and et cetera. But I showed up, and it was just like a simple, let's get into total body training and let's just get the ball rolling. So the one thing I would suggest is do not procrastinate. I said that to my members in WOW as well. If you're going to go on vacation, that's great. But usually that's not the problem. It's when we come back from vacation that we procrastinate. And then there's 2 weeks after the 2-week vacation that we still haven't started. So the biggest recommendation for me is get started as soon as you can, within a day or two of your arrival back home, even if it's a very short, small little workout, or if it's just like, maybe a habit change in terms of food and nutrition, whatever that might look like for you, whether you say, okay, let me just up my veggies to up my fiber again, or because your eating was off, whatever the case might be, get my sleep back on a normal kind of schedule. So you start those little habits, whatever the one is that you want to really hone in on, and focus on that, and set the bar not too high, because if that's discouraging too. So set the bar low, but so that you can reach it. That's really my go-to. So don't procrastinate. Set the bar a little lower, give yourself some grace, right? But also show up, because you need the grit. So if you want to do it, you got to get back to it. Sometimes we don't like to do it, but we got to do the thing we committed to and that we know we enjoy, and that's good for us. So that's the grit part. But then a little bit of grace, and like, okay, let me give myself a little bit of a break, because I'm coming back, and it's not as easy to come back sometimes, depending on how long that hiatus is. I just took 2 weeks, but some people may take an entire month or more. So it's going to be tough. That's okay.
Fantastic. Loved it. And that was a great tip. So accountability partner is one of the proven strategies for
Really is.
creating positive habits, such as training on a regular basis, having an accountability partner, otherwise known as a fitness buddy. You and I both grew up in the group fitness world. We know that often members in a class show up for the instructor or their friends before them. But then the side effect is a positive one. They realize, oh yeah, this was fun, but they didn't really want to go.
No, exactly.
They showed up because they knew the class was there and their friends were going to be there. And that's the science of group camaraderie and the benefits of that. But
so true,
I loved your strategy. You had the appointment ahead of time, and you heard it here. Even the best in the business sometimes don't want to show up, but they do. And your belief is built when you take action on the hard things.
Totally.
Yeah. I sent you some resources just to look at prior to our episode here today. And I was amazed by all the different ways people can actually go about setting goals and building better habits. And you mentioned a couple of them. One, prioritize self-care, which you talked about, even from the setting the bar lower. Don't beat yourself up if you didn't exercise for a couple of weeks.
Exactly.
You talked about having an accountability. We talked about that. You set your coach appointment ahead of time. I'm going to do that right after this and set my PT appointment for as soon as I get back from Canfit
Put yourself on the hook as soon as you come back.
That's right. And then again, cultivating positive habits. And I'm going to put procrastination. That is the enemy of proactiveness or whatever. But I loved how you got real with us in saying that procrastination can really, that's like the other side of grit. If you want to have grit, then don't procrastinate.
No, exactly.
Do you use any of the others? Like, have you ever done a vision board?
I love that, because vision boards, my daughter does that. And I love the idea. I am not one to do an actual vision board. I've never done one, but what I do, which I realize it's not necessarily the images, but I do more what I like to call more like brainstorm batching. So I like to see it on written. I'm a writer, so I like to write, so that I'm just going towards what I gravitate to. And so I love to batch like my brainstorm ideas of what I want to do. Let's say it's about business, and what I want, like projects that I have, timelines, very loose timelines, because we know that things can shift and change, and we have to be flexible as well. That's important, and adjust. But just basic timelines of where I want to see. So now I see like the back end of 2023. I had written certain things in January of how I wanted the year to look in my layout. And so now the back end, I'm like, okay, look back at that. What can I do for the next 4 months? What do I want to achieve? Where do I want to go? And, performance goals as well when it comes to fitness for myself personally. So there's certain fitness goals. And so I try to see, and all that is loose. I don't want to, it's not, etched in stone and it's like, oh my God, if I don't do this, it's like I'm a failure. No, but I love to have those kinds of visuals for me in the written word that
Mm,
help me to, I guess, map out what I want to do. And so for
I
some
love
people,
it.
it's the vision board, which I think is really nice too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never done one, although I like people who do them. I think they're great. And like I said, my daughter had one. I'm like, that's so nice. That's so cool because it manifests like the things that you want to
Yeah.
see. And I think it's cool. I've just never
Yeah.
done one, but maybe 2024 I will.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I'm a vision board
You
gal because
are.
I will remember more what I see than what I write. But
Wow.
again, here's the point, friends, is that find what works for you.
Yeah.
I will write my goals, and they do say even the act of writing your goals down, you'll
Increases.
have much more success than if you did not.
True.
When you batch them in terms of action steps, that's going to help as well. So that's the actionable part of goal setting, is how are you going to go about making that goal a reality?
Got it.
Setting timelines. This is all part of that SMART goal strategy.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I'm going to ask you while we're on SMART goals. SMART is
Mm,
an acronym for specific, measurable, achievable within the time frame. And that's what I love about this time of year is we only have like 5 or 4 or 3 months to go.
that's
So
right.
it's really like, oh, this is a short-term race and I get to the finish
Exactly.
line. I can do this.
Yes.
And then the R is relative to what the ultimate goal is, or relative to what it is you want to see at the finish line. And then timely.
Mm.
So, Lisa, when you help people with their goals, do you use a similar strategy? And or in that SMART goal setting, what would be the one thing that you would really encourage our listeners to focus on that kind of you see your clients go astray with?
I think the SMART goal formula is great. I love the idea because what tends to happen for most people who start up, let's say in fitness and have these fitness goals, they want to do too much too soon all at
Mm.
once, and it's daunting, and they think they can, let's say, oh, I'll hit the gym 5 days a week and I can do this and I can do that, but I'm like, what's really actually doable, feasible, knowing that, I don't know, I'll be stuck in traffic, I have a meeting, I've got deadlines, I might get sick, whatever. You have to look at what's actually reasonable for you to achieve. So I love the SMART goal because it keeps it timely, short, realistic is also really important as well. So I do use that with clients as well, although it's not written as such like a SMART goal. But I always start with clients who say they want to get back into fitness with the minimum effective dose. And that's what people don't understand because they think they have to train, 6 times a week. And you really, really don't. The minimum effective dose for me is twice a week strength training, which most people can achieve, obviously. And it doesn't have to be in a gym and it doesn't have to be 60-minute workout either. But 2 times strength training is the minimum effective dose for them to feel better, to be stronger, and to gain the benefits and health that are necessary. So that's the minimum. And I feel I kind of lower the bar that low because then I know that they can achieve it. And then from there we build. And that's what's important, as opposed to I want to do this, and then they don't achieve it. They feel like a failure. And then we have to have a coaching conversation where I'm saying, no, it's not that you're a failure. You got this and that, but maybe we need to just lower the bar. So minimum effective dose for me is the go-to, definitely.
I love that. And you heard
Yeah.
it here,
Yeah.
in some cases. And if Lisa and you can see Lisa, her advice pays off. Just have a look at the success Lisa has herself. And of course, you might have built from that
Mhm.
minimum effective dose to what you now do in your life. But I love that because the more achievable we can make it for our clients, the more opportunity they have to actually trust us and embark
Yes.
upon that and
Yes.
make it happen.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wow. We talked about your mission in inspiring others to lead, lift, and move. I always believe that a person's mission is only as strong as the person behind the mission.
Hmm.
So, on that note, Lisa,
That's
what
deep.
continues? Yes, I go deep
That's
occasionally
very
on
deep.
what continues to
Hmm.
elevate your purpose, your why. I mean, your passion oozes, but what continues to elevate your purpose and your mission?
That is a deep question. And honestly, it is I think driven specifically by when I get feedback from my clients and I see what they are achieving, even though they didn't think they could, that drives me to further on with my purpose and keep going. In other words, if a woman never held an Olympic bar in her hands. The Olympic bar is 45 pounds. She never even held it in her hands before. She's intimidated by that. She doesn't know she can do it. And then here I am coaching her through it. And she's doing her first, Romanian deadlift with an Olympic bar. And she's like, wow, like I didn't think I could do that. That fuels my fire. I'm like, yes, girl. And there's more to go. And so that just keeps me going when I see what they're able to achieve, because I believed in them and planted that seed. No, I believe you can, you've got this. I see the potential. So then they do it and they feel so great and empowered, and it just fuels their fire. That fuels mine. It's crazy. It's almost like this feedback like loop where it comes from them. I don't think they even realize that. They think it's me, but it's not. They fuel me.
Oh,
So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's really what it comes down to. It's interesting.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the rekindling of that initial spark. And I loved your analogy. It actually gave me goose skin when you said I plant the seed and I watched it grow, and then they grow and blossom, and it keeps me growing and doing what I do. It's
I just love that. I just love to see them get stronger. And then what happens is not just the confidence in, oh, right, so I lifted a heavier weight, but how that oozes out into all aspects of their life, because the confidence just seeps out into all aspects of their life in terms of their work, their relationships, what they didn't think they could do. It's amazing. And so when I'm a spectator of that, although, I'm helping them along, but I'm watching, it's just so cool. So I just love that. And I think that's just what keeps me going. It literally keeps me going. Yeah.
beautiful. Well, as we wrap up this conversation, let's talk to everyone about what you're working on this fall and for the remainder of 2023. And my question is, what is calling on your courage as you embark on this last part of the year?
Well, the next part of the year is kind of cool because this month we've got canfitpro. So I'm looking forward to presenting a couple of sessions with canfitpro, which is always the best part of my summer. It ends my summer on such a high note and also propels me into the fall, because then I get reignited with more fuel because I'm with other fitness professionals, which is really cool. So I'm looking forward to that. I want to continue to create some programs. This year was a great year for a lot of small group training programs that I created. The one that I love the most right now is Strong by Design. And that program is a small group training pod, like 6 women. So it's really tiny, and I work closely with them. So for sure, that'll be launched in the fall as well. I want to definitely launch that. It'll be the 3rd time this year, and it was really successful the first 2 times this year in 2023. Courage is just to continue to go on uncharted territory for me as an online coach and hybrid, trying different things. Like I wrote that ebook. It inspired me to continue to do that kind of thing. I love writing. So I'm thinking, okay, what's my new ebook going to be about? Which will probably be about protein, because it seems to be a problem for many people getting enough protein. So I'm like, I think I should write something about protein and maybe a workshop involved in that. So different things. And being courageous for me is doing something that you've never done before without knowing if it's going to be successful or not. But that's okay. And learning from that, because not everything we launch as entrepreneurs will be wildly successful. That's okay, because we learn from that. And then from there, we fine tune of what we want to continue to grow for me in 2024. So 2023 was really great, had a good year, solid year with a lot of growth in terms of my coaching with many people online through different programs and that ebook. And so I think I just want to continue with that and finish off the year courageous in doing things that I've never done before and see what happens.
Yeah, love it. And you never know who you'll meet or what you will learn or take away from canfitpro Global.
Yes.
And that's like what you said, you'd love to wrap up your summer with that, because it gives you that new energy for the fall. And for those who are not familiar with canfitpro and canfitpro Global, it is the Canadian industry conference and trade show. It's held every year for the past 30 years.
That's right.
In Toronto. It is we like to say the week of, but it is over the days of the 16th through the 20th of August. And Lisa will be there presenting. You will have sold out sessions, I'm sure, because you always do.
Excited.
And perhaps you can also let the listeners and viewers know they can meet you there. If you
Yes.
haven't yet registered, you can still register. You can go to canfitpro.com/events or global. You can find it on the homepage. We have the countdown now on. That freaks me out because it means it's coming fast.
Me too.
How else can people find you, work with you? Tell us more.
For sure. So I'll be at Canfit Pro for the weekend. I'm presenting 2 sessions. One's on menopause and muscle, and the other one is called Muscle in Motion. So clearly you know what I'm going to be doing and where I'll be on Friday and Saturday. Reach me through Instagram at Lisa Fitness. That's where you can find me on Instagram handle. Facebook is Coach Lisa Fitness. My website is coachlisa.ca. And I'm pretty quick to respond to people, whether they have questions or just want to inquire a little bit more about my coaching services. I do one-on-one for sure. I have WOW, which is my Woman on Weights membership site. And that's more of a strength training programs that are uploaded every month because I believe in progressive overload. So they're actually quite good, these programs that are built for women who just have free weights, minimal equipment that can be done at home or gym. So it's very user friendly. And that's only $29 a month. So it's super cheap. So it's a way for me to really provide access to quality strength training for women versus just randomly trying to find things on YouTube. So it's more of a contained. And this is also a great tool for accountability because a lot of those women use our private Facebook group page for accountability, which also fuels my fire big time. Because then I see posts on our Facebook page and they're just like talking about their wins and their struggles. And I love that because we're all part of the same community. So those are some of the ways that people can reach me. And I hope they do reach out to me. I'd be happy to connect.
That's amazing.
Yes.
And please do so. All my guests have been so generous with their time. And I know that many have reached out to my guests in the past. And
Awesome.
this is your invitation.
Awesome.
So we're going to wrap up. And as we do, I want to say that, when you're listening to this, whether it is as we transition from summer to fall or at any other time, it's a perfect opportunity to make your move because it's the last chance as you move from one season to the next to rise, not fall. Get it? Fall, rise, not fall. Maybe my deep thoughts are better than my jokes. But anyways.
Very good.
I can honestly say that you will have the confidence in the strategies and insights and stories you heard here today. We are confident that you have the one thing, and that's all it takes is to do the one thing, but it starts with the choice to do that one thing with the strategies that Lisa have shared today. We are super confident that you will have a great step into your new season. And of course, as you make your move, that will elevate your courage. Courage is what fosters your belief. You want to learn more about what that one thing is, and you want to hear what my one thing is, I encourage you to go to mohagan.com and check out my August blog. It is the way to elevate your life, the one thing to help move you forward as the new season approaches. So thank you so much, Lisa, for being here. Do you want to take the opportunity to sign off maybe in your lovely second language and leave us with a message in French?
En français, avec plaisir. Alors, merci Mo pour l'invitation. Et pour la saison d'automne, on veut augmenter les habitudes et on veut quand même avoir une vie, je dirais quelque chose plein de santé et d'énergie. Alors, vous pouvez me rejoindre comme toujours, coachlisa.ca. J'espère de vous voir. Merci. Au revoir et merci Mo.
Bye bye all.
Cheers. Bye bye.